artists. Many know Richard from his great work in Helter Skelter, work called 10,000 Clocks. 1,000 Clocks. Richard, 10,000 clocks, that would be a lot of clocks. 1,000 clocks was enough. As well, on the opposite side of this wall, you can see a suite of Richard's drawings. Richard's book drawings. Richard has participated in this community as a UCLA professor for a number of years, and if you look to the left here, you'll see the work of Jason Rhodes, one of Richard's students. Richard has experienced LA before MOCA has existed, and of course after. He also knew well and worked at the Pasadena Art Museum as it disappeared into the Norton Simon. Richard and I had a joke because of Richard's history in LA that we were going to have him rise out of the depths of the museum, which we thought would have been very dramatic, but this is a little less dramatic. So I present to you the wonderful Richard Jackson.
Thank you. I'm going to give you a little history, personal history. I moved here in 1967, and I moved here and I lived a block away from what was the Pasadena Art Museum. And the building was still in construction when I moved there. It was under construction, and it was the same old story. It was over budget, and blah blah, complaint. But the thing is that what happened is that before the museum opened, the curators came to my house because they knew that I did construction. I supported myself doing construction. And they came there and said, you have to come down and work in the museum because the building is 30% glass. And you have to cover all the windows up. So before the museum opened, or before it was even final by the city building department, I closed all the windows up. So I worked there, and then I kept remodeling the building as time went by. And I worked there for about a year and a half. And during that period of time, I kind of saw the demise of the Pasadena Art Museum. I saw it turn into the Norton Simon. In fact, it turned into the Norton Simon, and the only person that kind of survived the change was me, because I had to remodel it and turn it back to the way it was and so on. But basically, it was a void, because I was really happy that I'd moved to a place from a smaller town to a place that I felt was more civilized because they had an art museum. And then for a long time, we didn't have an art museum. And then the idea of MOCA kind of came out. And the thing that was unique about MOCA, or is still unique, is that the artists here had an actual say in its beginning. Like, I don't know who the members all were, but there were about 6 or 8 members that were artist members that made suggestions, and they, of course, none of them agreed on anything. But that's what makes art interesting, is that nobody agrees on anything. It's not about everybody thinking the same way, it's about different ideas. So, and MOCA also was in on, they were also in on what the architect would be and how the museum should function and so on. And the thing that I thought was, the thing that I think is that, I don't know the politics of Los Angeles at this point in my life, and what I thought was, Pasadena failed, but it was kind of a good old boy network. And then when they started to have meetings about forming MOCA, everything was on the west side of town. It wasn't in Pasadena anymore. So I thought, oh boy, this thing will never fail, because this is going to be movie money. And when times are bad and people are depressed, they go to the movies. So when things get bad, we'll have more money. But it doesn't turn out that way. So the thing is, the way MOCA really, in my view, what happened was when MOCA came into existence, it really kind of raised the bar. And what it did was that it presented better exhibitions than we had around here anywhere. And what it did was that it showed us, what Los Angeles could be by showing us examples from all over the world. The thing it did is it put up good art, and it held up a mirror so that we could figure out who we were and evaluate ourselves. And what it did is it made the artists better, it made all the institutions better, made the schools better, brought better people here, better students, and made the collections better. It just made everything in the city a lot better. So, let's see. I guess MOCA is like the Los Angeles Dodgers. You just don't want it to go away. And the other thing is that you don't want it to go away for a number of reasons. Because what happened is that in my first years here, maybe the first 10 or 12 years here, everybody was leaving Los Angeles to go to New York. And the reason was there were more opportunities there, and so a lot of young people were leaving. In fact, my friends were leaving. A lot of my friends left Los Angeles for other destinations because there was no reason to stay here. And now it's just the opposite. Everything's better. People want to come here. There are a lot of young people. There's a lot of energy. And now New York is waiting for us to fail, is my feeling, so that we can be, the brunt of a Woody Allen joke in a movie. So I just don't want to see that happen. And so I think, that being here and supporting the museum is important, and that we have to keep this thing going somehow. I worked in construction for 35 years, and this is the foundation of the building here. It's kind of appropriate that we're meeting here with this piece that exposes the foundation. And 35 years of experience, the foundation looks fine. So I think we should just get people to fill it back up with money. And then we can all go to the movies, get depressed and go to the movies, and everything will be fine. Thank you.
It's a little untenable, but we'll do the best we can to take some comments from some of the people that were here. Again, we don't have a lot of time, and I can't reiterate enough the importance of comments being concise and productive. There was someone who asked me to speak, and it was Brian. Are you here, Brian? Come in. Can you come in? Or shout from where you are. Brian Kennon, not Brian Kennon. But hi, Brian. Thanks for coming. Where's Brian Kennon? Come over here.
Yeah, I was just asked on behalf of Tosh Berman, who couldn't be here, just to mention how important it is to the Berman estate that MOCA owns the largest Wallace Berman collection that there is.